Welcome back to the Angler Profile, a short, sharp episode where we get to know our fishing guest of the week. This week's guest, we have Paul Worsling. G'day, Paul.
Good afternoon, morning, or whatever other time you're listening to this.
Yes, exactly right. Let's get straight into the questions. What's the biggest fish you've ever caught?
Yep, it would be a black marlin. I like the fact that to think about that. A black marlin off Cooktown with Captain Timmy Dean. That fish was over 1,000 pounds. It was caught and released.
Nice. If you could only fish in one spot for the rest of your life, where would it be?
I'm going to say next to my wife in case you ever listen to this. I tell you what, I'm going to say in gin clear shallow water for bonefish on fly.
That's cool. I like that. What's your go-to fishing snack?
Oh, barbecue shapes with French onion dip are the bomb.
What's the funniest thing that's ever happened to you while fishing?
I can't tell this story. Some fun, like crazy funny stuff. I'll think of the stories I can. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Yeah, no, I get that. That's pretty funny. Yep. I'll tell you one. And I did mention this on another podcast, not recently, about a year ago. My wife said, "Why'd you tell that story?" But we were filming in Darwin for sailfish, and of course, we'd filmed for 3 hours and not had a bite. And we're on a liverboard mothership, so eventually you got to go to the loo. So I go to the loo, close the door, sit down, do what I got to do, and just as I do that, the boys start yelling, "Sail, sail!" I think, yeah, right. Pretty funny. I just didn't do a thing. And eventually I realised that they were actually serious. So I'm sitting there on the gunny. We haven't caught a fish for 3 hours. It's all finally happening. So I was forced to literally do a massive scrunch of dunny paper, jam it between my cheeks, pull my undies and shorts up, and run out the toilet. Got some sailfish that was dancing all over the lures. Present my piece to camera, put the fish back, and then I had to go and fix myself up. So that's pretty funny.
Yep.
My mom's going to kill me for sharing that again, but that's what you do when you're trying to make television sometimes. People say I talk a lot of shit. Well, that day I was, anyway.
I love that. That's so funny. What's your favourite fish to catch and why?
That's like having 2 children and having to just pick your favourite. It doesn't really count. I'm going to say bonefish because it's the scenario, and barramundi, the two. Like, it's where you catch them. It's the environment, it's the people, it's just the pure joy. You feel like you're on a fishing holiday just when you're fishing for them. Like, some fishing's hard work, but when you're standing in that gin clear water and you're casting and there's beautiful coconut trees behind you, then how could you not want to be doing that?
What's your least favourite fish to catch?
Oh, there can't be one. Like, obviously, you don't like catching. I'm going to say toadfish because they're a pain in the backside. And yesterday I was out whiting fishing and the toads come along and you lose. So I'll say toadies are the least because you never target them. But I generally have this theory that every fish is really, really cool. And I always say, like, I've had days where, from a television sense, my target species has been yellow-eyed mullet. And I was just as excited to put that burley down, catch fish off the pier, work them out as I was catching 30 mullet that day, as I would be if I was catching brown trout on fly. I think once you're in the zone and you set a goal for your fishing, every fish is pretty damn cool.
Yep, I definitely agree. I was going to say that. It's the idea of, like, you target something and then you're actually successful at it, which makes it even better. Even if you go targeting toadfish for some reason.
It could be cool.
Yep, exactly. If you could have any superpower to help you fish, what would it be?
Ooh. I've got it. Hindsight. Oh, because, man, the amount fishing is all about making a judgment at a given time and hoping when that sliding door moment takes place, you step through the right door. That's all fishing is. And we think we're experts at times and we think we know, but 9 out of 10 we don't. So you're literally going, heads or tails, heads or tails, heads or tails. Like, we've been burling for 2 hours. Do we move or do we stay? And if you move, you could catch a heap. If you stay, you could catch, like, so if I had hindsight, oh my God, I would catch so many fish because I go, we're not even going to that dam today. It's until 1 o'clock and we go just down the road where the salmon are swimming over the highway at the moment. We grab them with our bare hands. That would be the greatest superpower in the world.
Yep, you're not the first person to say that either on the podcast, I think. What's the weirdest bait you've ever used?
Oh man. Oh yeah, okay, it's just come to me. I was fishing the Pentecost River about 12 years ago in the Kimberley, fished 12 hours, big day for barramundi. And the guy said, when the water starts coming back up the rapid, the tide, you're going to catch some barramundi. So I caught 2 barramundi, about, I don't know, probably 4 kilos. And we decided to keep one for dinner. And I started gutting it because I've got my fresh barramundi. And inside its stomach were 2 rotting mullet. Like I'm talking black and feral. So I thought, I've still got 5 minutes on this barra. I'm just going to throw one on a 6.0 suicide hook with a ball sink out the other side. And it can just sit there a while. And I reckon it was about 30 seconds. I heard the 4,500 bait runner just slowly ticking away. I set the hook, and to this day, it's the biggest barramundi I've ever caught. It was 1.25 and around 6
Wow.
pounds of wild barramundi on a decaying, horrible, rotten mullet.
There you go. Love it. What's your most unusual fishing superstition or ritual?
I reckon, and people are going to think I'm nuts here, but I literally believe in positive thinking when fishing. And I believe if I sit there, and sometimes when I get stressed, particularly filming, because that's a different kettle of fish, you start to get stressed. You feel it when you're stressed and you're not believing. I have this saying: if you don't believe, you don't receive. And if I cast a lure and I dead set believe it's going to catch a fish, it sounds stupid. I reckon I catch more fish. I know it's dumb. If I just sit there casting, not thinking, it's a different ball game. But I think it's all about when you're doing that, you're also changing little 1%ers that make that cast closer, make the lure work better because you're thinking about it all the time. So mine is, if you believe, you will receive.
Yeah, exactly. Our first episode with Sam Gilchrist, he said something along the lines of you're connected to the lure through your rod, and it brings that positive vibe. And if you don't believe in that lure being able to eat the snapper, which is what we're talking about, you actually won't catch anything at all. And that's very similar to what you're saying right there.
Absolutely.
Which celebrity would you love to take fishing with you?
There's a little bloke you've probably never heard of called Billy Joel.
Yep.
He's an absolute legend, and he sings a lot of songs. He's a fisherman, sings a lot of songs about fishing, one in particular, the Down Easter Alexa. And I just think it'd be pretty cool to chew the fat with Billy Joel. So I'd love to shit with Billy Joel, get him on the grand piano, listen to a few songs. I reckon that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, I actually play that song on the way out to fishing my first spot in the morning. As soon as I leave the ramp, that goes on, and it just like sort of fires me up, ready to go.
Yeah, I love it. I've got it word for word, but I won't bore you.
Same, and we won't get into a little duet either. What's the best fishing advice you've ever received?
Probably the best, and I've received a lot of advice over the years. I'll tell you that because I'm very lucky. I fish with different random people on a regular basis, so I literally am so lucky because I get told a lot of things. But I think the best fishing advice is not to take it too serious. Fishing has to be I go fishing because I love fishing and it's fun. And when you start to make it too serious, you actually start to not like it because you've been stressed about not catching the fish and then things stuff up. So when you literally just take it for what it is, take a deep breath, take a step back. I still put in a lot of work. I still do the hours of research. I do the hours of getting the gear ready. But once I'm there, I try to enjoy that moment because I've seen people catch fish of a lifetime and hate every second of it. And when that happens to me, I'm done. It's got to be fun.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. You've fished all over the world and in multiple different spots. Is there a dream fishing destination still on the list for you?
Yeah, there's about 100. I think every night of the week, like my boy went to school an hour ago, and we're talking about destinations. But look, I think I've been very, very lucky. Like I've done the salmon in Alaska a few times. I just got back from Colombia, and I've fished through the ice in Finland. I've fished for salmon in Scotland and the Netherlands, catching fish I caught fish in the red light district in the Netherlands. I'm the only person in history who's happy to have actually caught something in the red light district. Get your head around that one. I've been so lucky to see. I mean, today we fished in front of the Eiffel Tower 6 months ago. I've got photos in front of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai fishing. So having done all that, I think it's all about going to places and getting involved in the culture of places like I did recently. And I think I want to go back to Colombia and I want to go and target big peacock bass in the middle of the jungle. And I want to do that because I want to go back and meet the people I've met recently again. But I want to go on adventures, like having done Papua New Guinea black bass and stuff. It's the bass are awesome, but when you go up a village and you see kids who are 5 years old who have never seen a white person in their life, they run screaming into the jungle, their life experiences that you will never get doing almost any other sport. So I think I want to go to those places and just have those adventures with my boy, my wife, my friends.
Yeah, it's more about the actual destination rather than the fishing. The fishing could be, you might not catch a fish for a whole week, but it's about being a part of that culture and that destination.
Absolutely.
What guest would you want to hear on the podcast?
So I tell you who I think would be inspirational for you, and you will have never heard of him. There's a guy called Nikhil who lives in Sydney, and he made a wish. He's been very ill. He got cancer when he was 17, and he made a wish through the Starlight Foundation, I think it was, for me to take him fishing. And I took him barramundi fishing in the Territory, Hully fishing, and I've probably never been inspired by a person so much in my life, because he has just fought against everything, every battle. His dad passed away and he loves fishing. Like, he's going bluefin tuna fishing out of Sydney in the next couple of days. He's just a fish. And I know how hard it can be to go fishing sometimes, get the boat ready, get the gear. He literally struggles to walk because of what he's had to go through. And he's out there doing this all the time. And I think no one's ever heard of Nikhil. I think that's sad, because he's an inspiration to every person who would listen to what he had to say. And you'd get a lot out of it, and so would your listeners.